Happy New Year's Eve! Hello, everybody. We're live here on the Blue Plate Special from Orange Beach, Alabama at the Wharf. And Wisdom Harbor Studios is happy today because we finally got the ship put in glass. Finally got it glassed in today. Tell you more about that in a minute. Just got some odds and ends of some stuff. We weren't really planning on doing this one today, but we decided, hey, we're all here. Might as well do it. We didn't know if we're going to be here or not, but now we know. We're here. You here?
We're here.
You're here? All right. Matt and Emily are there. SB's in the back. Roland's in the back. I don't think Austin's here. But anyway, we're glad you are here. Click that notification button, Facebook people, and turn on your notifications on your phone so that you'll be notified when we go live. And also, please share this to the page. This is the New Year's Eve show, the big New Year's Eve show. And are you guys going to, I mean, how excited are you going to be? Have we got the countdown clock going? Can we get that countdown clock going? I mean, this is the last time we're going to see the countdown clock. And think about what we have here. I mean, we're so close to getting rid of this year. You know, it's beginning to look a lot like New Year's. 2021. And we're glad that it's happening soon. I'll be over the moon. 'Cause certainly we know that 2020 wasn't a lot of fun. How about that? Okay, so yep, we're 11 hours, 42 minutes and some such seconds away from 2021. Patricia Clapp, what's wrong with my finger? Well, you know, that is a very good question. About 3 weeks ago, I was sitting across from a friend drinking some coffee, which you know I'm a coffee drinker now. And actually, I was drinking some Java, okay? So I was sitting across from a friend, and I went, what? And he said, what? I said, man, my finger. It's like, that hurt. I couldn't, like, it was like, when I bent it, it was kind of like it was breaking or something. And it hurt. But I was able to like clench it or bend it, and then it would kind of, it wouldn't crackle. It would be a big, like it felt like something was in there keeping it from turning. And so it kept happening. Hey, Judson Perkins. It kept happening. Hey, Gene McDonald. And it would be worse in the mornings and really kind of hurt. Darlene McIntyre, all right, what'd you do your finger? I'm going to tell you. Well, first of all, I didn't do anything to my finger. It just like happened. And so I looked up on the internet because it's my middle finger. And Barbara Benjamin, what's up with your finger? Give me a second. Marcy Crosser Taylor, did you break your finger? I don't know. Really. But I looked up something on the internet, and I said, my middle finger hurts, and it's hard to bend. And I mean, like, first shot, I got it, and it, you know, then there it does the questions down there. Is your, you know, is it your middle finger? Which and so evidently it is something the I don't know, the things that line up are age, which why would I, you know, I'm like not an old person. And Patrick Horner says middle finger overuse. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. Age, occupation, because it said that it didn't specifically talk about somebody on their computer a lot, but it talked about musicians. getting this. It is, I can't pronounce the name, but it's commonly called trigger finger. Okay. But it is that one. I mean, I only hold these down so you can see it. Good. But it's kind of like, I kind of think, like the Lone Ranger had silver bullets. I kind of got like a silver middle finger. I mean, if I took this part off, if I took the flesh-colored tape off, that is fooling no one. Let's see. This would be, Jeff Herring said, I had a client once whose gun misfired while what? I don't see anything but while cleaning. He shot himself in the hand, caused nerve damage in his hand, and had been in position of permanently giving the world the finger. Yeah. But see, it's kind of like, okay, Dana says, just hold it up there. It is swollen. It's not psoriatic arthritis. It's just like, it's trigger finger, okay? And there is some kind of thing that you can have done to it, all right? But it's also, I mean, you can have surgery for it, okay? But it said the first thing you need to do is rest it. And I told Austin yesterday, I said, how am I supposed to rest this? And I said, get a thing for it, get a splint for it. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. And Holly Gothard says, how appropriate. What a great way to kiss 2020 goodbye. Yeah, I'll hold up this finger again at 11:59 tonight. But isn't it cool that, I think it's cool that the Lone Ranger has silver bullet. And I have a silver finger. Sandra Mitchell says the support needs to be on both sides. Well, Sandra, you should be on both sides because the support is on both sides. Okay, but with my silver finger, somebody if somebody gets the finger, yeah, they get it normally. But with mine, somebody would say, "Who was that big-nosed man with the silver finger?" Anyway, so it's kind of a hassle. You can't wash your hands with it like that, and so my middle finger will probably have COVID by the end of the day. That doesn't really look that good, but it's on there. Kind of slid sideways while I was talking to you. There we go. Gordon Moat says, no guns for me then. Gordon, nobody will put a gun in your hand, my friend. You are blind. Did you know that? Did you know you're blind? Gordon Moat with a gun. Yeah, I'll put him behind the wheel of a car. Actually, he's been behind the wheel of a car. Kevin Williams and Gordon Moat in New York City one time had a rental car, and they put Gordon behind, behind the wheel in the driver's seat, and Kevin was kind of under him, and he was doing the steering and the gas and like that. And Gordon was waving at people. We were on an Alaskan cruise one time, and I took Gordon with me on a whale watching thing. It was good because the sign said, if any of your party does not see a whale, the whole group gets their money back. And Gordon didn't see one. He didn't see one at all. Yvonne Palmer says the history of the middle finger is interesting, and it has to do with triggers, even though that's not your trigger finger. Really? I mean, that's your trigger finger, unless, of course, you've blown it off in a gun accident. Yeah, don't do that. Let's see. George Cosser, where are you? Greetings from the fabulous El Charro restaurant in the five-star city, Senatobia, Mississippi. Yes. Hello, Big G. By the way, we're all like, there's things. Who said this? Renee Dixon Clardy said a friend had that in her thumbs and no insurance at the time. I told her to immobilize it. She did and got better. Well, there you go. Because I actually saw on the internet, if you have it in your thumbs, it's called trigger thumb. Which, who's going to, Patrick Horner says, I will be the next Bond villain. Silverfinger. Do you know who sang that? Not Silverfinger, but Goldfinger. To me, that's the greatest Bond song because it was so weird. I think it was Shirley Bassey that sang that, but remember it was Goldfinger. He's a man with the Midas touch. It's very weird. Did that used to be the trigger finger? Mine says? I don't know. All right. Let me tell you what's going on here. Just tell you a couple things we got going on, and won't keep you too long today. But our Amish friends are in town. That is very cool. They are here helping so many people in Orange Beach and Foley and Gulf Shores and Alberta and Lillian. It's just amazing. We just love these people. They this is the second time they've been here. They came right after the hurricane, came from Indiana. What is this thing yakking at me about? Well, that's Jeff Jacobs. Jeff, I told you that we were doing a blue plate. And so I didn't mean for you to text me back, but I'll just turn it off. I meant to turn it off. Anyway, the Amish are here, and they came right after the hurricane. And just the whole area, we all fell in love with them. They're just incredible people. And they're from Indiana and came all the way down. And now they have come down again, and they're helping some people rebuild. And so they've been over to the studio a couple of days in a row. And I just love them to death. And they've come down here. And it's been like Chris Comer did after the storm, and have refused to take $1. I mean, they won't even take gas money from anybody, and just as happy and nice as they can be. So that has been very cool. Hey, let me tell you one of the things we're going to do next year. We're going to start this with the very first Blue Plate special of the year. Okay. And so starting with the very first one, we're going to do this between Blue Plate specials, and we will kind of keep you up on it with some social media, but we will be reporting the results with every single Blue Plate special of the year. I'm going to start off, we've decided that I would start off with a safety pin, just a regular nothing safety pin. And between the first Blue Plate special, where we'll show you the safety pin, and the second one, I'm going to trade it for something. And so I'm just going to try to trade up, try to get something better than a safety pin to me. And so I'm going to trade my safety pin. And then at the second Blue Plate special, we'll show you what I got. Show you where I stand right now. And between the second and third, I'm going to trade that. So we'll trade. And so we figure, between 85 and 100 Blue Plate specials in a year, between every single one of them, we're going to trade. And I will trade the item I got last for the next item. And we want to see in a year what we can turn a safety pin into. So it's the year-long Blue Plate project, the year-long Blue Plate trading project. So anyway, this is going to be a lot of fun, I think. We've got a new year starting, and I glanced through like New Year news, and we all kind of start over in the New Year, right? We all kind of start over. But I was kind of blown away by this story. I just thought I would just like let you know. Because yesterday, a woman named Susan Wright walked out of a Texas prison. And she's starting over as a free woman. I don't think I'm going to call her a lady. But as a free woman, she's free. Okay, now, what did she do to get put in prison? Well, in 2003, she killed her 34-year-old husband. Now, why did she do it? She did it, the jury said she did it for the $200,000 life insurance policy. Now, this is a mother. She had two kids. She and he had two kids. And she killed him for the $200,000 life insurance policy. Mark Lowry, hey, buddy, how are you doing? I'm so glad you're here. Mark, listen to this. You're going to freak over this. Okay, so I don't know if you just joined, but this woman just got let out of prison yesterday in Texas. So we're starting New Year's over. So she's starting her life over, just like we're all starting our life over, but she's doing it a little differently, or coming from a different place, So her name is Susan Wright. And in 2003, she killed her 34-year-old husband. And she did it for a $200,000 life insurance policy. Now, how'd she do it? All right. She put the kids to sleep, and she promised sex with her husband, and so he allowed her to tie him to the bed. And she went to the kitchen and got a knife and stabbed him. And after she killed him, she buried his body in a hole she dug in their backyard. It was where they were going to put a fountain. But instead, she put him. And so for killing this guy, she was sentenced to 20 years. Seems a little light to me, but 20 years.
I agree.
And she got out in 16. Got out in 16 years. She went in 2004 when she was convicted. She got out in 16. Okay, but here's the deal. I told you that she tied him to the bed and then went in the kitchen and got a knife and stabbed him, right? Linda Coleman Rogers says, and they're letting her out? No, they let her out. She got out yesterday. Well, she said, I told you she tied him to bed. He let her tie him to bed, right? Went to the kitchen, got a knife, and stabbed him 193 times. She stabbed him 193 times. And she did 16 years. What do you got to do for life in that state? It's like, now somebody asked, was he abusive? Well, that was what her defense was. That she was afraid that he was going to that she was afraid that she was in danger. And but after all the evidence, the jury decided no, that wasn't it. She did it for the 200 grand in insurance money, but stabbed him 193 times. Yeah. I mean, they didn't even, if you think seasons, 16 years of seasons, like spring, summer, fall, winter, they didn't even give her a season for every time she stabbed him.
Yeah.
I mean, golly. It's like, but she put him in a hole in the backyard where they were going to do a fountain. She had already made the guy a fountain or a colander. Unbelievable. Yeah, I don't get it. But, here's one more weird part, as if that's not weird enough. Here's one more weird part. During the 2004 trial, the prosecutors brought the couple's bed into the courtroom for a reenactment of the crime. Texas, Mark. It was in Texas. Texas. A reenactment of the crime. Now, so what is that like? I mean, what is the reenactment of that crime? I mean, what are they doing in the courtroom? 114, 115, 116, 100, right? I mean, good grief. I mean, that makes what Lorena Bobbitt did sound kind of like nothing, even though we know it wasn't nothing. You remember that joke, don't you? Who's the? Well, I shouldn't tell that joke. I shouldn't tell it. It's one of those fifth grade jokes that I get in trouble for telling. Polly doesn't like my fifth grade jokes, but she just doesn't have that great sense of humor like we had in the fifth grade, I think. Let's see, a couple more things. One is this. I am just about... Hey, Judson, look at this. I'm just about out. It is New Year's Eve. And I'm just about out of your mama's ginger cookies. Just about out. Glenda, Kevin's wife, Judson's mama, Glenda makes my family ginger cookies every year for Christmas. And this year was no exception. But several years ago, I got kind of cut out of all the cookies. We have two boys, and they would eat the walls off if we didn't stop them. And so it's like, like 2 or 3 years in a row, I'll come in and go, oh, Aunt Linda's cookies, they're gone? They're already gone? And so anyway, this year, I watched for the box, and when it came in, I unwrapped it and I hid it. I hid it in the back of a drawer inside the crock pot. And so, 4 3/4 of a cookie left. And I will have eaten all of them this year. I know, Mark. Don't you love ginger cookies? What about you, Emily? You like ginger cookies?
Emily just stepped out to grab something, but I'm sure she does. Who doesn't?
Really? What? She left?
She'll be back in just a second.
Boring the Gen Z people today? Is that what it is? I mean, this is kind of free form.
I think she was worried you're going to pick on her some more.
Well, I am. But she needs to come back,
Oh, here she comes.
Oh, hey, I was talking about you.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Do you know what ginger cookies are?
Yes, I love them.
Okay, all right. I'm just making sure. There's so much she doesn't know.
Almost took one from your.
What?
I almost took one from your container.
No, you
Yeah.
can't do that. I think that's like a fire in a fence or something. Yeah. You can't eat my cookies because I'm the one who stole them first.
Oh my goodness.
So I was curious, in our ongoing thing about how Matt and Emily are just like not up on the arts. Do you guys know who Jim Stafford is?
I don't.
I can Google it.
No, don't Google it, because if you didn't know the name in the first place, you don't deserve to know the name. Wow. Mark, you remember Jim, right? I actually did several things with Jim, and I thought this is one of the funniest, most brilliant people. He's an awesome guitar player. This is Spiders and Snakes. You ever heard of Spiders and Snakes?
No.
Really? I don't like spiders and snakes, and that ain't what it takes to love me. You fool, you fool. You don't remember?
No.
Yeah, that was a big song. Big song. Spiders and Snakes. Do you remember? Wildwood Weed? Do you guys remember that? The wildwood flower grew wild on the farm. We never knew what it was called. Some said it was a flower, some said it was a weed. We never gave it much thought. Remember that? So, Mark, do you know Jim? I know Jim. And I was sitting around with Jim one night, and he had one of those shows, the summer shows, the Jim Stafford show, it was like a variety show. And man, he played the guitar. He played Flight of the Bumblebee on the guitar, and just unbelievable, an unbelievable writer too. But I was sitting with him one time, and who is the girl? Man, I can't believe Polly would just kill me for not knowing this. Patrick Horner. Yeah, that man from Washington come by and spied us and turned white as a sheet. Well, he burned and he dug and he dug and he burned and he killed all our cute little weeds. We just smiled and waved goodbye, sitting on our sack of seeds. You remember that? Do you remember My Girl Bill? I wouldn't play that one today. Yeah, My Girl Bill. Remember that? And of course, my girl Bill, my girl Bill, can't say enough about the way I feel about my girl Bill. That, and so Bill walked me to the door last night. It's this whole thing, and then it gets to the end, and he tells Bill, he said, because, that she's my girl, Bill. But, you don't know who I'm talking about? Dan, come on now. He did a great bunch of really good talking songs. Really good. I won $10 in a high school talent show doing one of his talking songs. I sure did. See, I remember. Well, I just got into town, didn't have nothing to do, and I happened upon this telephone booth with a whole bunch of writing covering one entire wall. Said, if you ain't afraid to spend a dime and you want to have a real good time, just give Lucille a call. Well, I fumbled through my pockets and I found myself a dime, and I heard a ring or two, and I got her on the line. I said, Lucille, I'd like to have a real good time. And, of course, I might have found a lover, might have made a new friend. I can't remember. And then it's, well, who are you and what is this? So this is Jim, Lucille, and it's about this list, which I began to read with particular emphasis on numbers 1, 5, 9, 11, 52 through 69. She said, where are you? And I gave her the street. She said, you sound like a guy that I'd love to meet. She said, you stay right where you are, and I promise you a real good time. About 15 minutes after my arrest, in the middle of the questions, I tried to protest that I wasn't a man of obscene phone calls or master of crime. And I can't remember the rest of it, but it's a really good song. These are good songs. And but I was sitting around with him one time. Who's the girl who sang "It's the 6th of June, dun, 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 dusty day"? Who's that?
The what?
I didn't even hear any words there.
This is the what?
Why am I asking you guys? I'm going to ask you guys. Who sang "Ode to Billy Joe"? Somebody give me that. I mean, I just slipped my mind for a second. Come on. Ross says, your memory is amazing. Yeah, I'm like, who sang "Ode to Billy"? Bobby Gentry. It was Bobby Gentry. Bobby Gentry. It's a girl, though, Bobby Gentry. And, yeah, it's one of those songs that kind of went on and on and on. You know, I was at the dinner and the daddy was there and all of us and just come in from working and we had some food and we're talking and pass the biscuits, please. I mean, this is like, it's kind of song goes on, but it tells the story. Anyway, I was sitting around with Jim Stafford one night and Jim says, he says, now, you know, that's the way he talked. He talked like that. He said, you know, I was married to Bobby Gentry. I said, really? Because, I mean, the girl he was married to at the time was named Annie. I think he's still married to Annie. And I said, really? He said, yeah. I was married to her. I married to her. We're only married for a year. It was a long year. And I said, really? He said, yeah, whole year. Whole year I was married to her. And I never did find out what that kid threw off that damn bridge. I think that every time I think of Jim Stafford. And, of course, you don't know what bridge we're talking about. This is the day that Billy Joe McAllister jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. You never heard that? Oh, my God. I will play Savannah and Anthony singing that for you because they do it better than, you know, Bobby Gentry. I'll tell you, you're right. Patricia says I need older staff members. Actually, we've got some older ones, and we all just, you know, we go from room to room in our walkers and go, oh, I've never been here before. And they do all the work, really. Darlene McIntyre says Ode to Billy Joe is a movie. Yes, it is. And did you know that a man named Simpson Hemphill from Greenwood, Mississippi, where it was filmed, played the preacher. Simpson was a friend of mine and one of the funniest humans. Simpson's passed now, but he was one of the funniest humans you've ever met in your life. And a lot of us have Simpson Hemphill stories. But I was thinking about, let me. I told you, didn't I, that we're going to have a major announcement about Wisdom Harbor coming up in the first year. Okay, so just be ready for that. And but I want to see if I can remember this one song, because there was a song that Jim Stafford wrote and did. And Polly and I still talk about this every now and then, because to me, in fact, I need to play this for Jimmy Yeary. But it had creepy 70s music, you know, with the guitars. And it was very creepy. And the name of the song is Swamp Witch. And Jim wrote it. So Mark, let me see if I can do this for you. You know, it's a talking song, okay? And so just imagine me doing this with weird music. I think Jim lives in Branson now, so just so you know. Of course, I know you guys don't know where Branson is.
I've been to Branson.
Have you really? Yeah. You know, the first time I ever performed in Branson, I did Branson with Kenny Rogers, and Kenny told me we were going in. It's the first time I'd ever been there. And Kenny told me, he said, hey, you know, tomorrow we hit Branson. I'm just letting you know, the audience is very old. And I said, yeah, okay, yeah. I've worked on cruise ships a lot, and so, yeah, I'm fine. He said, no, I'm just saying, Yeah, there's just, this is really, I said, Kenny, I worked on cruise ships, dude. You don't put a glass of water anywhere. They'll put their teeth in it. I mean, I know, doing stuff for old people. He said, okay. And the next day, when I walked out on that stage, I came so close to turning, to the wings and going, yeah, you got me. You got me. This is very funny. You got me. Because when I walked on the stage, the first 2 or 3 rows were people with oxygen tanks and hoses up their noses. And I thought he set it up. I thought he was had staged a joke. But he didn't. So anyway, I think Jim is, hopefully I can get an oxygen tank with a hose up his nose, but because he smokes, and those oxygen tanks and cigarettes, that ain't gonna work. But this is a brilliant song. I think that Jim is a genius on many levels. But let me see if I can do this song for you, Mark, and you try to imagine, you guys all just try to imagine weird, creepy 70s guitar music with some kazoos in the background, maybe a lava lamp going. Okay, this is called Swamp Witch. All right, you ready? Here we go. Blackwater Hattie lived back in the swamp, where a strange breed of reptiles crawl. Snakes hung thick from cypress trees like sausage on a smokehouse wall. Where the swamp is alive with 1,000 eyes, and all of 'em watching you. You stay off the track to Hattie's shack in the back of the Black Bayou. Way up the road from Hattie's shack lies a sleepy little Okeechobee town. Talk of Swamp Witch Hattie lock you in when the sun go down. Rumors of what she'd done and rumors of what she'd do kept folks off the track of Hattie's shack in the back of the Black Bayou. One day brought the rain stayed on, and the swamp water overflowed. Skeeters and a fever grabbed the town like a fist. Doc Jackson was first to go. Some say the plague was brought by Hattie. There was talk of a hanging too. But the talk got shackled by the howls and cackles from the bowels of the Black Bayou. Early one morn, between dark and dawn, when shadows filled the sky, there came an unseen caller on a town where hope run dry. In the square there was found a big black round vat full of gurgling brew, whispering sounds as the folks gathered round. It came from the Black Bayou. There ain't much pride when you're trapped inside a slowly sinking ship. They scooped up the liquid deep and green, and the whole town took a sip. The fever went away, and the very next day the skies again were blue. Let's thank old Hattie for saving our town. We'll fetch her from the Black Bayou. So a party of 10 of the town's best men headed for Hattie's shack. Said Swamp Witch magic was useful and good, and they're going to bring Hattie back. They never found Hattie, never found the shack, and they never made the trip back in. Just a parchment note they found tacked to a stump said, "Don't come looking again." Isn't that great? I mean,
Yeah, it's a great song.
I think that's just great. And the words, man, in that, the house got shackled. So there's something, talk got shackled by the howls and cackles from the bowels of the Black Bayou. That's a good line. He had to have been looking for somebody to high five when he wrote that. And also the one, the snakes hung thick from cypress trees like sausage on a smokehouse wall. Yep. Oh, Jim Stafford. Spiders and Snakes, My Girl Bill, Wildwood Flower, Swamp Witch. There were a bunch of them that he did. A bunch of them. So what are you guys eating tonight? We're having our traditional New Year's Eve feast, oysters. We have oysters. And we'll be thinking about you guys. How much time is left in the year? How much time we got?
We have got 11 hours, 4 minutes, and 30 some odd seconds.
Okay. We will put a stamp on this year. And I have splinted my finger so that even if I go to sleep before the new year comes in, I will put pillows around my wrist so that even in sleep, I am telling 2020 goodbye. Bye-bye. Happy New Year.